Hello everyone! I wanted to give you an update on my beautiful 16-year-old miniature Cattleya. Yes, this is a miniature. And I wanted to give you the care tips, how I've been taking care of it this fall. It has 2 canes actively growing on it right now, and it is November 15th. So let me show you all the new growth that I've had this year and the new canes. Okay, here is the first cane that grew, and as you see, there is a flower sheath there. It is still empty, but probably around January, you'll start noticing it's going to start having buds in that flower sheath. And here's the second one. Okay, here is the second growth that is fully mature. And then the unusual thing, I just noticed that there's a new cane that's branching off from the bottom of this new cane. Okay, here's this new cane that is just starting. It's in between those 2 roots. That's exciting. And then I have this new cane right here that is still growing. It started about 4 to 6 weeks ago. So I've got a lot of active growth here. So I'm going to be fertilizing this really well. And I also wanted to give you the name of this Cattleya. That is a very important sounding pedigree. But this is a gorgeous Cattleya as well. So that's what this one is called. So let me give you some general care tips on how I care for this Cattleya. It grows in my house during the late fall and winter and early spring. In a western facing window, it gets plenty of light. They like a lot of light to grow well. And then in the spring and summer, I put this in the western windows in my sunroom, and it really likes it back there because it gets a lot of sun throughout the day. I fertilize it really well when it is in active growth. It is growing in New Zealand sphagnum moss, and I water it about once a week. I just kind of fill the top of the moss, and when it starts feeling a little bit dry, I water it thoroughly. Let me show you how I fertilize this one while it's actively growing. Okay, here's the fertilizer that I just used on it today. And like I said, it's November 15th. Outside it is 40 degrees, and inside my house it's 68 degrees, and this one sits in a sunny western facing window. I use 20 drops of CalMac. You always add that first to your water. Then I add 1/3 teaspoon of Better Grow Orchid Plus, about 25 drops of seaweed extract, and that's per gallon of water. And that's a TDS of about 350 to 400 parts per million. As you saw, there was a lot of active growth there. I've got 2 new canes growing. And then about every 1 to 2 months, I add about 1/2 teaspoon on top of the moss of Epsom garden lime. I love the garden lime. That's a really good source of calcium and magnesium for the plant. Okay, and now you're looking at the back of the plant at some of the older canes that aren't as tall as the ones that I just showed you, but I wanted to give you a close-up of the beautiful New Zealand sphagnum moss that it grows in. Several of you have asked me how often I repot this, and I repot this about every 2 or 3 years. Probably in the fall next year, I'm going to need to be repotting this one. And all I do, since I use a really high quality New Zealand sphagnum moss, I will just get a larger container. I'm probably going to need to use a large bucket next time to repot this one. But I get a larger container and I add new, fresh New Zealand sphagnum moss. And this orchid has just grown beautifully with me growing it like that for 16 years. And as you see, it grows in a lot of moss. If there's ever a little patch of moss that seems to just kind of brown up and it doesn't smell good, I will replace that little tiny bit of moss, but I don't think I've had to do that for years. So it just seems like the moss, the New Zealand sphagnum moss, is just such a high quality, and it's very, very durable and long lasting. So you can see it just thrives in that beautiful moss. And I thought I would just kind of give you an overview of what this plant looks like. Let me see if I can just back up and show you all the roots. It is a beautiful, beautiful plant. The roots just go on for days. Yes, yes, she's a very, very happy orchid. And the last thing is how often do I fertilize when this is in active growth? I will fertilize it 2 times with the same recipe that I just shared with you. And then the third time I water it, I will just leave out the Better Grow Orchid Plus. I'll just add the CalMag and the seaweed extract and just flush the pot with that. When I'm saying flush the pot, I'm just saying I'm running water through the pot. That's all that means. And I hope you all are just having a fabulous day, and you all be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you all next time.